Good evening, Panther fans. Welcome to Bank of America Stadium, where the Panthers just lost to the Atlanta Falcons 24-10. It's a sad day. So let's head down to the locker room and see what the Panthers had to say about this disappointing loss.
For the guys who are left and who will be back next year, for everyone who's seen what this team is capable of at its high points, what are the bright spots to look forward to for next year?
Oh man, just right now I can't put my finger on it. If you would have told me we was gonna lose seven games in a row, probably bet you everything I own. But I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. Still hurts.
Julius, we know that this was Ryan Khalil's last game here. What has he meant to this franchise, and kind of as a core, what have you guys?
Yeah, he means everything. One of the greatest teammates I ever played with. Professional guy, very selfless, great example for everyone to learn from. So this organization is going to miss him, and I wish him the best. We had a couple of breakdowns defensively, up front and in the back end. We had guys running open, so I think it's the story of the season, just a lack of execution at critical times.
You mentioned Ryan. Thomas has also said that this is likely his last season. What has he meant?
The same thing. He's everything. Thomas is everything. He's been the heart and soul of this team, the defense. He's been our emotional leader for so long, and they're definitely going to miss him. I'm going to miss him, and I wish him well too.
It's been a tough one, of course, because I'm always matched with the number one receiver. But I accept that challenge every week. The coach gives me it, and it's been fun at the same time because it's football.
You were getting a lot of pass deflections today too. What do you credit that ability today to have, so you can get all those pass deflections?
At the beginning of the week, coaches put together a good game plan, and we saw some of those routes that showed up throughout the week. So I have to credit them, front seven, and then me just coming down and making a play.
You still going down on special teams, getting all those plays. So.
Yeah, I'm trying to hang in there. It's been fun though. Any way I can help the team.
Now, unfortunately, you guys on a downward spin. You guys always have motivation, right? But how do you have to change your mentality to play good and play hard this last game coming up against the Saints?
Like Coach said, it's about pride. So, we'll know going into the week, how prideful we are starting at that Wednesday practice, and we're going to get it going from there.
What was the message to you guys today?
It's all about pride, man. Finish strong.
What do you think you've learned through the 7-game skid just as a team?
As a team, you can't wait around to make a play. Sometimes we had opportunities to make plays and we didn't make those plays. You got to be one of those guys to go out there and make a play. Don't wait for somebody else to make it.
Now, that was our defensive playmaker of the game, James Bradberry. Now, let's transfer over to offense. So what did you think about Christian McCaffrey, who was our pick for today?
Christian McCaffrey is an unbelievable Swiss Army knife, running back, quarterback, wide receiver. So I'm going to go through a few stats from his phenomenal game today. We tried to pick some things today. We were talking about it to find some positives in the midst of this 7-game losing streak. And I think Christian McCaffrey is definitely one of those. And I'm going to talk through just for a second the fact that I got to go to another screen and come back, but I'm here. I didn't stop it, right? So McCaffrey, a few things from today. Third running back in NFL history to have 1,000 yards rushing and 100 receptions in a season, and we got one more game left, including could have possibly had some playoffs. So still a very good accomplishment there for him. Today was his fourth 100-yard rushing game. So Christian McCaffrey as a running back looking very solid. I forget what his average is, but I know early in the season it was a little bit over 5 yards per carry, which is phenomenal. And just today his final numbers, 21 carries, 101 yards rushing. And on the receiving side, 12 receptions, 77 yards rushing. So excited for him and what he did today, this season, and, bright future ahead for that guy.
Now, CMC didn't have his usual partner in crime, Cam Newton, who was out with a shoulder injury. He's placed on IR reserve for the rest of the season or for the remaining one game. But instead today he had Tyler Heineke, who I think played really well for his first play of the day. I think he did well up until that injury. What do you think about him?
He has some things against him. I say for a quarterback starting his first game, I agree with you. He played well. He had some points where he fumbled the first snap of the game. He had some interceptions in the game. I think he ended up with 3 interceptions. But still, overall, he threw the ball 53 times.
Even with an injured elbow.
Yeah, well, the fortunate thing was that injured elbow was the non-throwing arm, but you got to think it kind of could make you, in your first NFL game, feel a little unbalanced with one arm being sensitive like that. But I liked how he played. He can run.
He can. It almost gave you a little Camness to him a little bit.
Yeah, so if you're a Cam fan, you like, hey, we don't have to change a lot because he can run. One thing I would say that I did notice was that on those read options, he didn't keep it too many times. And after I saw him run, I'm like, keep the ball, man. Like, keep the ball and go down there and get some yards. But again, like you said, very good game overall for a first time. And just some quick stats on him. He was 33 for 53, 274 yards, had the three interceptions, had the 1 touchdown. And interesting, though, Kyle Allen that came in for him for temporary relief, he was 4 for 4. Yeah. It was perfect.
38 yards for that 4 for 4.
Look at you. Yeah. So we might have some depth building at that quarterback position.
Right.
So.
Now, again, keeping it with, I guess, offense in a sense. Rivera, excuse me. I don't know why I want to call him Riviera. I do a little bit. It might be. Low key. But Ron Rivera is keeping his job. Actually, in the press conference, someone brought up that Ian Rappaport said that he's keeping his job through 2019, which we discussed in our YouTube pre-show. But Coach was like, I don't know where Ian is getting this stuff from, me and Tepper were good. We haven't really talked too much about it. So how do you feel about his job security and going into 2019? Do you think he's solid at the coaching position?
Yeah, I do. I personally am curious where Ian gets his information from because it's like, it would be a small group of people at that table to have this conversation. It's like, does Ryan go home and tell his wife and then Ian talks to his wife? I mean, it's incredible the information that he gets. But I feel like if that report is true, it's a little bit incredible. Like you said, we touched on the pregame. But I still feel like once you've lost 7 games in a row, that's just hard, man. Like, I just bought this team, spent, I don't know, was it $1 billion?
I think it was $1 billion.
Yeah, and then so I feel like if he is here next season, extremely short leash, and he's going to know exactly what metrics he needs to hit, and if he's missing them, then he's going to be out. And maybe, just maybe, if Tepper is indeed keeping him, maybe he's just wanting that extra time to get somebody in place because he doesn't know who he might target.
Well, hopefully Tepper lets Rivera actually fix this O-line before he just gets rid of him. I think there are a lot of other pieces that need to be fixed before Rivera loses his job, but that's just my lonely opinion. But that is it, the last home game of the season. How do you feel?
How do I feel? I mean, I always go to be honest on the show. I'm a little relieved that we're getting close to being done. It's tough reporting on the team when they're losing so many games because you want to do stuff that's interesting for you fans that are watching. As we're watching, you kind of know the story, like, how can it be? So kind of getting excited for them to wrap up, revamp, and come back next year, which you might think some of the players can't help but get into that mindset as well.
Well, I spoke to a few of the players in the locker room and asked them their Christmas wish. Okay. And Dante actually just said simply a dub. James Bradberry said the same thing. We just want to get this final win for the guys, the older guys who are possibly leaving next year. So hopefully we get our Christmas wish and the Saints game is a dub for everyone. And it's a good ending, a happy ending to a sad season. Yeah. So, all right. Any other list of things we need to talk about? This is it.
We got the day after recap, which will go up tomorrow as usual. And, just as usual, follow us, subscribe, tell a friend, hit the bell notifications, all that stuff. We appreciate the support that everybody showed all season.
Thank you guys so much. And you guys have a good Christmas, a happy New Year, and hopefully a happy 2019-2020 Panthers season.